U.S. Navy will not replace the Patrol Coastals with a new boat of similar size and type. The U.S. Navy does not intend to have a direct replacement for the Cyclone-class Patrol Coastals (PC) under the Trump administration's quest for a 500-ship Navy. However, with the incoming Biden administration and shifting priorities and strategies, this decision may change as the U.S. Navy reprioritizes and reassesses amid tightening budgets during a nationwide COVID pandemic, high unemployment, stimulus demands, and other federal financial issues. Originally built to transport 8 of the elite naval special warfare U.S. Navy's Sea Air Land SEALs, Special Forces operators, the PCs were considered too large and too poorly armed for the clandestine stealthy transport role because the PC's size for transporting just 8 SEALs didn't seem effective, nor could the PCs stand up and survive against small enemy warships and warplanes outside of its effective gun range. The Navy's attitude towards the PCs changed when they were stationed in the Middle East, as the Navy found them very useful for patrolling against small and fast enemy fast attack craft, inshore fast attack craft (IFAC) speedboats. Using 4 Paxman diesel engines producing 14,400 horsepower that drive 4 shafts, the PCs have a maximum speed of 35 knots, and at a cruising speed of 25 knots, the PCs have a range of 2,000 nautical miles. An upgrade of BMG-176 Griffin B missiles was outfitted into rack launchers to provide the PCs with a small guided missile against surface targets beyond the line of sight of the main 25mm autocannons and various crew-aimed machine guns. 16 PCs were originally planned for and 2 were cancelled, resulting in a total of 14 boats. The lead ship, PC-1 USS Cyclone, was transferred to the Philippine Navy in March 2004. The oldest active-duty U.S. Navy patrol coastal boat, PC-3 USS Hurricane, commissioned in 1993, is 28 years old and is still in service today. The newest Cyclone-class PC, PC-14 USS Tornado, commissioned in 2000, and also in service, is now 21 years old. With an estimated service life of 30 years, the 13 patrol coastal boats are nearing the end of their intended service life. 10 active-duty PCs are stationed in Manama, Bahrain, and the 2 newest ones, PC-13 USS Shamal and PC-14 USS Tornado, along with PC-8 USS Zephyr, are stationed in Mayport, Florida, for training and homeland security purposes. All 3 US-based PCs are set to be decommissioned on March 31, 2021. The 9 PCs in Bahrain patrol the Persian Gulf and keep watch for small boat threats as they escort oil tankers and other commercial shipping. The Patrol Coastal question submitted by Naval News at SNA 2021 also asked about future plans for U.S. Navy small boats, in which both RADM Paul Scalise, USN, Director, Surface Warfare N96, and Major General Tracy King, USMC, Director, Expeditionary Warfare N95, answered in their Updating the Surface Navy question and answer session. RADM Paul Scalise said that the roles of the PCs will be replaced by the littoral combat ships LCS and the smaller U.S. Coast Guard boats. Scalise described the Coast Guard boats as platforms that work in both peace and wartime and having great capabilities that can make up for the retirement of the patrol coastals. This article will explore those options further below. 12 PBs were built from 2015 to 2017, costing $15 million each, and all are completed and in service with the U.S. Navy. Heavily armed for their size with 2 Mk-38 Mod 225mm Bushmaster autocannons, .50 cal M2 HB Mk-50 remote weapon stations, and 6 mounts for a combination of .50 cal M2 HB, 7.62mm M240 medium machine guns, 7.62mm M134 miniguns, and 40mm Mk-19 automatic grenade launchers. The aluminum-hulled MKV are also lightly armored around the crew compartment, engines, and fuel tanks. The MKV has a crew of 10 and can transport 8 passengers for 600+ nautical miles. But U.S. Marine Corps Major General Tracy King said that the 12 MKVs were very expensive to maintain. The MKV used 2 diesel engines to power waterjets instead of shafts and propellers. Major General King also mentioned that in wargaming scenarios against peer nations, the MKVs were deemed not really needed given their small size and limited missile firepower, but King did reserve judgment for the incoming Biden administration and said that he will wait for VADM Jim Kilby, USN, Deputy Chief of Naval Operations for Warfighting Requirements and Capabilities, N9, to make the requirements decision on the Mark 6 patrol boats because originally 48 MKV-PBs were on order and on the future of new small U.S. Navy boats. As the specifications show, the LCS's draft is twice that of the patrol coastal boat PC's 7.5 feet, 2.3 meters versus LCS's 14.1 feet, 4.3 meters, and the LCS's cost is many times more than any other of the patrol craft that intends to replace the patrol coastals. This is not to say that the 40+ knots LCSs aren't up to the task of attacking and defeating small fast boats with their rapid-fire 57mm Bofors cannon, 1 RAM or C-RAM launcher, various machine gun mounts, and with the surface warfare mission package installed, twin 30mm Bushmaster autocannons and 24 longbow Hellfire missiles because the LCSs are indeed capable. When the U.S. Navy outfits all LCSs with 8 Naval Strike Missiles, NSMs, electronic warfare and countermeasures, Mk-53 Nulka active missile decoy, and armor-protecting vital spaces, the LCSs should be capable against certain surface naval warships, an inherent weakness of the PCs. One big and tall issue in replacing the patrol coastals with the LCSs is, well, big and tall. The size and height differences between the LCS compared to the patrol coastals, patrol boats, and fast response cutters is that the LCSs tower above the much smaller patrol boats. Let's take a hypothetical scenario where an LCS is transiting a narrow body of water such as a strait, canal, gulf, or sea where the room to tactically maneuver isn't as flexible as the blue water ocean for risk of colliding with other large transiting vessels or encroaching into territorial waters. For those readers who saw the Tom Hanks's World War II Atlantic convoy escort movie, Greyhound, those readers will remember, spoiler alert, that a surfaced German U-boat parallel passed so close to the American Fletcher-class destroyer's hull that the destroyer's main guns and its anti-aircraft guns cannot depress low enough to shoot at the U-boat. The U-boat's hull was essentially under the gun's lowest elevation in the arc of fire. Can be said about the LCS versus the FACs that might speed in too close? The LCS is so tall that its self-defense guns may not be able to depress low enough to fire at the IFAC boat swarms hulls if they get too close. Then the LCS will have to rely on the guided ram missiles and, if installed, longbow Hellfire surface warfare mission package for a sure kill, or as a last resort, personal handheld weapons such as carbines, pistols, and portable machine guns. Thus, the low height of the Navy's patrol coastals and MKV patrol boats offer an advantage in close quarters line of sight literal combat that the LCS's higher sitting weapons might not offer. This might be especially true against stealthy enemy semi-submersibles hidden in the waves that might be able to sneak up on an LCS where its radar sits so high up that the radar dome's coverage might not be low enough to detect small close-in surface targets hidden in the waves slipping underneath the LCS's radar. One cannot also ignore the fact that the LCS is considered a light support warship, below that of a corvette or frigate in armament and size, and that the LCSs are not considered patrol boats. The roles are different depending on the type of body of water these ships operate in. Whereas the MKVs and patrol coastals short draft allows them to travel up very shallow and narrow rivers and streams for pursuit, inspections, visual board search and seizure (VBSS), and the deployment of SEALs and Marines, akin to a riverine force, the LCSs cannot, being too large and having larger draft ratings. The LCSs will have to send their rigid hull inflatable boats RHIB instead, and the RHIB is armed usually with just a 7.62mm M240 machine gun without mutual support of another MKV or PC. These factors can become a vital matter of life and death in supporting and/or evacuating a SEAL team under fire in a riverine or jungle environment if the LCS's helicopter cannot land. Smaller and more maneuverable PCs and PBs can get close enough, in river, to unleash 25mm machine gun fire, and Griffin missiles, whereas an RHIB would be limited to a single machine gun, and the LCS would be a no-show, sitting off the coast because the LCS's draft is too deep. Furthermore, the Patrol Coastals and MKV patrol boats have sustainment power, performing their literal patrolling duties each and every day in that specific body of water, whereas the LCSs often just transit the area with the Carrier Strike Group or Amphibious Ready Group unless specifically assigned to that area of operations daily, weekly, monthly. In the open blue water ocean, the LCSs replacing the PCs and PBs would be logical and ideal, as the LCSs would act as great escorts and shotgun riders for the upcoming light amphibious warships LAWs carrying 75 Marines and their vehicles. The LCSs, acting as escorts, would be able to offer defenses in anti-submarine warfare (ASW) with the MH-60 helicopter and bow sonar and towed arrays, mine countermeasure (MCM) with the drone mission packages, anti-surface warfare (ASUW) with the 8 NSMs, longbow Hellfire, and 30mm turrets, and limited anti-air warfare (AAW) with the 57mm Bofors and C-RAM missiles. Thus, the U.S. Navy's statement that the small MKVs will not be needed in a peer nation fight bears merit, and the small low-endurance patrol coastals and MKIVs would not fare very well in the storms and rough seas of the Indo-PACOM region.